Most people think courage feels bold, confident, certain, like a clear yes that arrives without fear. But what if courage often begins somewhere quieter? What if it begins when you are tired, unsure, and simply willing to take the next step? Today, I want to tell you the story of a woman most people have never heard of. A woman whose courage was not loud, but whose life quietly changed everything. Hi, I'm Sandy Hancock, relationship coach. And today's story is not about romance or marriage or even relationships the way we usually think about them. It's about faith, obedience, and what it looks like to keep showing up when life does not give you reassurance. Her name is Mary Slessor. Mary was not born into opportunity. She grew up in Scotland in deep poverty in the 1800s. Her father struggled with alcoholism. Her family lived on the edge of survival. By the age of 12, Mary had left school and was working long hours in a textile mill just to help keep food on the table. There was no spotlight on her life, no promise that things would get easier, no indication that she would ever do anything remarkable. But something steady was forming inside her. Not ambition, not a desire to escape, a quiet conviction. Mary listened as stories of missionaries were read aloud in church. She learned about people going to places that felt dangerous and unfamiliar. And instead of feeling inspired by adventure, she felt drawn by obedience. She did not believe she was capable. She did not feel prepared. She had no education that would impress anyone. But she had a growing belief that God often works through willingness, not strength. That belief would shape the rest of her life. When Mary was sent to West Africa, to what is now Nigeria, she entered a world few people willingly chose. Disease was widespread, violence was real. Many missionaries did not survive long. Mary arrived without protection, wealth, or power, and instead of separating herself, she did something unexpected. She lived among the people. She learned their language. She listened to their stories. She allowed herself to be changed by proximity. Mary became known for walking alone into situations that terrified others. Tribal disputes, conflicts involving women and children, practices that harmed the most vulnerable. She did not confront with arrogance. She did not demand authority. She showed up again and again and again. She protected abandoned children, especially twins, who were often left to die because of superstition. She intervened not with force, but with presence. And over time, something shifted. Trust formed. Not because she controlled anything, but because she stayed. Mary Slessor never described herself as brave. She often wrote about exhaustion, about illness, about how limited she felt. But she remained, and that is where her story reaches us, because many women believe courage requires certainty, that you must feel confident before you obey, that clarity comes first, that peace arrives before movement. Mary's life tells a different truth. Courage often comes after obedience. Strength is built while you are walking, not before you begin. Mary did not wait until fear disappeared. She trusted that God would meet her in the next step, and He did, not once, but repeatedly. Her life was not impressive by modern standards. She did not build an empire. She did not gain recognition where she lived. But entire communities changed because she chose presence over visibility. Near the end of her life, Mary's health was failing. Years of illness had taken their toll. She could have left earlier. She could have chosen comfort. Instead, she stayed as long as she was able, not because she believed she was indispensable, but because she believed love shows up. Mary Slessor died far from where she was born, but she died deeply trusted by the people she had chosen to love. Her life leaves us a quiet question. What if courage is not about doing something extraordinary? What if it is about staying faithful in the place God has put you? If you feel unseen, if your life feels smaller than you hoped, if obedience feels costly right now, Mary's story reminds us God does not wait for you to feel ready. He meets you in your willingness. And sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is take the next step, faithful step, and remain present where you are.